What's up, y'all? Welcome. If you guys are new, welcome to a Barber's Connection podcast. I am your host, Chris. Just coming on here to give you guys a brief summary and kind of just to give you guys a face to the name of who's running the podcast, who's doing the podcast, who's gonna be on it. Um, just so yeah, like I said, my name is Chris. What this podcast is gonna be about is pretty much gonna be having serious conversations, make some jokes, couple of people just kicking it, hanging out, having a ball, having a blast, just kicking it. Uh, we're gonna be getting to know your everyday people that are, try to meet them in a deeper level, understand them a little more, seeing what type of people they are, who they are, what they do. Um, People that I've grown up with. We're gonna talk about some stories because everyone got a story. It's crazy stories that you just never really talk about. We about to talk about life. It's gonna be some dark humor here and there. Please, 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 don't cancel me. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me. Cause dark humor, for some people it isn't it, but some people it's funny as heck. Um, just want to let y'all know I'm always open to some suggestions, questions, and if you guys know anybody that would like to be on the pod, you guys are more than welcome to message me on Instagram at Barber's Connection podcast. Um, so you know, just obviously I'm bouncing around a little bit of everywhere, but that's kind of like how this podcast is gonna be. It's not gonna be one solid topic, one solid conversation. It's always gonna be bouncing around, us talking about random things. Let's talk about where the name came and where I plan on taking this. Honestly, obviously, sky's the limit. Sky is the limit. I I don't want to tell you guys, oh, this is where I plan on stopping. No, eventually I want it to blow up to be a bigger thing, to where, you know, it's, I like talking to people. I like interacting with people. Never really been in front of a camera. I've always kind of been behind the scenes, behind the camera, but kind of stepping out of my comfort zone, trying to do this podcast stuff. I've always enjoyed watching them, enjoyed listening to them. And then, you know, where it started, I mean, I remember being a kid in school that was always getting in trouble because I would talk too much. It's funny, my mom used to get my report cards and it used to say in Spanish, it'd be like, es un placer tener en clase. And then right under it, it would say, habla demasiado. Be like, how is it that you are a pleasure to have in class, but you talk so much? So I was like, that's a very good question, Mom. I was like, I wish I had the answer for that, but I think that's kind of where it started my whole career of wanting to do a podcast and talking to people just because I've always been able to kind of talk to people on a everyday level kind of thing to where we're here now. Um, so most of you guys that have followed me and known me, you guys know that I had a different name for my podcast. Um, Before it was obviously named the No Breakfast Boys podcast, but obviously me thinking about it and I was like really sitting down and really started thinking like, dang, boys with a Z is it's cool, but it's only one boy and it's me. So and what way can I incorporate myself and just solely be me in a pod? And I was like, well, one, I'm a barber. Two, I make connections with people every day because people that sit in your chair be telling you stories that you just never hear. And honestly, when people tell you that barbers are chismosos, that's fact. because I be don't tell none of my clients this. And if you're watching it, I'm just kidding, But um, my clients be like, "Hey, I told da 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 da," right? They tell me a story, and then the next person sits in my chair, or a couple people later sit in my chair. I'll be like, "Bro, you ain't gonna believe what this client told me." Nah, I'm just kidding. Imagine that'd be crazy. Nah, I'd be trying to keep the stories to myself, but I'd be lucky a little chismoso about these stories because they be going crazy. But obviously this is something new to me, like I've said. Um, let me just obviously let me tell you guys a story of what it's gonna be, what the No Breakfast Boys name originated from. Before I leave you guys, let you guys go. It's gonna be a small episode, just to get you guys in the loops of again putting a face to the name, understanding who I am, seeing who I am, and just I think 2026. I know I started the whole talk of a pod for since 2025, and it was just a bunch of, like I said, it was a road that I went around that I feel like helped me get to the point where I'm at now. In 2026, I'm very much so pushing it forward to the point where it's all gas, no brakes, and I think the only person that's really gonna be stopping me is me, and I'm not even gonna let that happen to me. And obviously, me posting me posting every time I will is gonna kind of hold me accountable to you guys because you guys are obviously gonna be in that realm of like, well, it's a certain day. Why hasn't he posted? He said he's gonna post. Why hasn't he posted? Kind of get you guys that out there. Um, hold myself accountable to two, just push it forward, move it and get it going. Um, what's it called? I will be dropping. I'm gonna be trying to drop an episode every Friday. Every Friday. If not, it's gonna be every other Friday, but for the most part, it's gonna be every Friday. I got a couple guests already lined up that are ready to go. And honestly, the people that have already started following me and started talking to me and understanding where I'm coming from, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone that's watching, everyone that's listening, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, you guys don't understand how much it means to me to know that you guys are like, well, where's the pod? Where's the pod? I want to see you succeeding. I appreciate that. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you are listening to it, go ahead and follow my pod. Uh, it's a Barber's Connection podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. We will be on there posting. But anyways, let me before I let you guys go, let me leave you guys with the story that, you know, on how my first name actually originated from. So I want to say this was around when Shohei Otani, when the Dodgers signed Shohei Otani. It was a Sunday morning. My boy, my boy Kenny and his wife Kaylee called me. It was like 10:30 in the morning, and they're like, "Yo, what are you doing?" I was like, "Chilling, killing, not killing, but if y'all seen that movie, you guys know what I'm talking about." But they're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Just hanging out, chilling, waiting for M to come home." And they're like, "Oh, you want to go to a Dodger game?" And I was like, "Dang, kind of down to go to a Dodger game." But I was like, when you're balling on a budget, you're very much like, "Well, how much are you gonna sell me these tickets for?" It's Sunday. And they were like, "The tickets are free." I was like, "Dang." I was like, if it's free, it's me. I've always thought of it that way. So I was like, yeah, I'm down. Let me get ready. How much time do I got? Keep in mind it's like 10:30 when they're telling me this. Then they're like, well, we're gonna pick you up at 11 because the game is at 12. I was like, dang. I I looked at the time and I was like, let's do it. Let's go. Got ready all quick. Da, da, da. And then we get into the stadium, we do our tickets, and keep in mind it's hot when we went. So it was, I want to say it was in like its mid 80s, low 90s. But I was like, dang, it's hot. I wonder how much these micheladas are gonna be. Keep in mind, when we heard about um Shohei coming to the Dodgers, everyone was like, dang, how much are these micheladas gonna be? How much are these tall cans gonna be? How much is everything gonna be, you know? And so that's what I thought. But I was like, I can spare a couple dollars, for a beer or two. And then I'm like, wait, I didn't even eat breakfast. And then I look at my boy Kenny and I was like, yo, bro, did you eat breakfast at all today? He looks at me and he's like, nah, I didn't. I was like, damn, that's tough, G. I was like, effing no breakfast, boys, or what? He looks at me. He's like, I'm down. And my boy Kenny is like one of those people that is, when it comes to drinking, he's not an alcoholic, but he's always down to drink. Um, so we're like, all right, so that means we're not eating breakfast at all, right? So he's like, all right, we won't. Cool. So we get our first drink, come to our seats, we're watching the game. And then I think it was the beginning of the second inning. And then he's all like, yo, by the start of the third inning, I'm gonna have this done and we can go get another one. And that inning was one of those innings that it was just a quick three and out on both sides. And then I'm like, keep in mind when he told me about like I'm gonna be done with this drink, he was maybe at a quarter in. And then he's like, nah, I can't finish it because I just started. It was one of those icy freezed ones, the alcoholic ones. He's all like, I was like, bro, you said it. You said it. He's all like, damn. He's like, all right, whatever. And he chugs it. First of all, I already knew that was a bad idea, but peer pressure goes crazy. So then I was like, all right, we want to go get another one. Um, so along with us was one of our other friends. His name is David. He was like, so keep in mind, yeah, drinks are expensive, but when you got three people and we're all each one of us buying at least a round, we're set for three, right? But I think that day, like I said, it was hot, so I think all three of us bought 3 rounds each. So that's nine. That was like 9 drinks right there. I was like, dang. I was like, all right, cool. I'm chill, throughout the whole time I'm chilling, enjoying it, catching a vibe, catching a buzz, obviously. Um, then at one point, keep in mind, if y'all know my boy Kenny is maybe at least 100 pounds less than me. So he's small. He's definitely smaller than me. Um, but I told him I was like, we'll chug, right? And then maybe seventh inning. And keep in mind, this is where I'm telling you guys, peer pressure goes crazy. Maybe the seventh inning, his wife is eating truffle fries, and she's like, "Oh, you want some?" And I'm not a big truffle fan in general, so I was like, "Nah, I'm okay." And he's like, I'll have some. Hands them to him, and I just give him this look like, I'm like, you gonna eat them? He's all like, yeah, I'm gonna eat them. I was like, bro, what happened to no breakfast, boys? He's like, bro, I'm already lit. I'm like, all right. And keep in mind, I mean, you guys, people that are homies know it's like, damn, it's the peer pressure goes crazy. So I was like, oh, so we're just gonna be a bitch today. He's all like, damn, like that. I was like, it is what it is. I mean, you can eat it. You're an adult. I'm gonna let you eat it, but just know, in my eyes, you're always gonna be a bitch now. He's all like, damn, puts it right back and gives him right back to his wife. I was like, I dapped him up. I was like, that's my boy. And then by the time the game's finished, we're sloshed already. We're pretty lit. And I was like, I mean, if you guys ever been to Dodger Stadium, you know, coming out of that parking lot, it's crazy. Long lines, crazy lines, lines that are like super long that you kind of want to just park and chill. So meanwhile, we're waiting for it to die down a little bit, and I'm like, yo, what if we go to Yard House after this? And then we go to Yard House because everyone was down. And we're ordering, right? And so my boy Kenny's like, what? Like, I'm gonna get me a pint size Pacifico. And then I get myself, if you guys been to Yard House, you guys know that Ace pineapple. I get a half yard with with tahine rim. So I tell him, damn, you're really gonna just let me you're gonna get a small beer and I'm gonna drink a big beer by myself. And he's like, bro, I'm already messed up. I was like, come on, bro, what's one? He's like, all right. And then he switches his. Keep in mind, I have a cider. He's getting an actual beer. And he's like, so he gets a Pacifico with tahine rim as well, a half yard. Long story short, because I mean I've already told a long story, but long story short, he's gone out of his mind. And that's when I call Emmeline and I'm like, hey, Emmeline, by the way, is my fiance. Yee. Um, I call her and I'm like, hey babe, I'm a little lit. You're gonna have to come pick me up. She's like, dang, you guys are really that messed up? I was like, yeah. She got there, and you know what? One day I'm gonna tell my boy Kenny to be on the pod, and so that way you guys hear his story, his side of the story, because there's always three sides to the story: my side, his side, and the truth. It's up to you guys what you guys are gonna believe, but yeah, tune in next week. Um, First guest I have coming on is my boy Johnny. He's my cousin-in-law slash tattoo artist slash boy. So he's a little bit of everything. But tap in with us. We'll be on. Thank you guys for staying as long as you guys have. You guys have a good night, good day, good morning, whatever it is. Peace.